Good evening, everyone. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I guess we are on. Listen, guys, listen, before we start, I want to give some breaking news. There's reports in that there's an active shooter scenario right now in the United States. So I'm going to be keeping people informed on what's happening with that. So just to repeat that, guys, okay, there's an active shooter scenario in the United States right now in Arkansas. That's all I'm getting. This has literally been reported like an hour ago or something. So I guess it is still breaking news at this point. Very limited information coming out of the United States, what is happening. But the crux of the live stream today, ladies and gentlemen, is crisis in the United Kingdom. I'm going to talk about how we are heading to an absolute crescendo of migration and a food crisis. And I'm going to tie that into a water crisis as well. So look, guys, just with the water crisis, you guys know if you live in the United Kingdom right now, the amount of like wherever you live in the UK, we have had a very peculiar summer. We have had honestly, guys, I can pretty much, I think I've probably cut the grass in the garden maybe 3 times this year. And normally in a summer, I'm cutting it every week. So that's going to have a massive knock-on effect. Not only is it going to have a knock-on effect to, us who like to drink water, but it's also going to have a big knock-on effect, it's also going to have a big knock-on effect to farmers, which is going to affect the price of food, which is going to make taxes go up, which is going to put more people unemployed. Guys, listen, nothing good's coming. So let's just get on with it. Let me click some buttons on this screen if I can. Yeah, there we are. Right. I will be jumping over, guys, and I will be stopping this more often than I normally do because, like I said, there's if I'm just looking at it now. There's an active shooter scenario in Arkansas in the United States, guys, okay? So I will be stopping the live stream. I will be stopping the live stream more than I normally do. To get any updates from that, and it doesn't look like there's any updates. So, guys, look, just before we go on, all right, there's an active shooter reported at the University of Arkansas. That's all I know at the moment. If anybody else has got any information, please throw that my way. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I guess we're on now. You guys know what we're going to be talking about. Throw your questions up. I'll try to get as many as I can. So, the United Kingdom under pressure, under attack, under dynamic situations, all right? Migration, climate change, food shortages, and water shortages. Guys, these are all here, and we can see these in real time, guys, okay? So, first up, I want to talk about migration. And I know we've done this to absolute almost extensivity in the United Kingdom, but I do want to go over it again, guys. And I think tomorrow, I'm just going to go with totally abstract topics. All right, guys. So first up, migration. The UK, is seeing record numbers of migration. Now, before I go on to this, I want to put this out to everyone, guys. Okay, so I've spent a lot of time in the Middle East. I have spent lots of time in the Middle East. And one of the things that in the Middle East, one of the things that I'm always conscious of in the Middle East is the amount of my experiences in the Middle East. Now, I'll tell you this experience before I go on, because it's going to sound like I'm really anti-migration. I'm not. I'm anti-cultural erosion. So when I've been to the Middle East, and this example that I've spoke about quite a few times, it was Ramadan, and I was sat there, I was witnessing Ramadan, and everybody was Muslim except for myself. And the person who was organizing Ramadan, he came up and he said, "Sean, I've got you some beers because I know you're Christian. I mean, I don't really drink, but I was really shocked. I was like, wow, that's really kind." So when I talk about migration, I'm not talking about it as in I'm being negative. What I'm being negative about is the erosion of Western culture. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I will keep skipping back because there is an active shooter situation right now in Arkansas in the United States, guys. Okay, so I will be flipping back to that. And any updates on this active shooter in the United States, I will be talking about that. So let's continue. So, excuse me. record numbers of asylum claims in the United Kingdom, guys. A lot of these asylum claims, I don't believe they're legitimate. It doesn't really matter. These people are here now. We're paying for them. It's costing the taxpayers a phenomenal amount of money. So just for some statistics then, guys, so far this year in the United Kingdom, we have had 111,000 asylum claims up until June this year. And that's where the statistics stop, and then they'll calculate them again afterwards. Now, that is according to the Home Office, guys. That is not me. That's not me making it up. Now, 40% of those are arriving on small boats, which would obviously mean 60% arriving by other means. A lot of people, and it's sparking some heated reactions. Now, we've got politicians like Nigel Farage calling it an invasion. And listen, guys, I believe it's an invasion as well. I do. I really do. I believe that word invasion is a fair word to use. Protests turning violent, are we allowed to call them far right wing? What do we call them? These protests. There have been attacks in 2024 on asylum seeker hotels. It's very dynamic in the United Kingdom, guys. Okay. Now, the High Court have actually had to step in and said they're going to ban one hotel in Epping for using migrants. I'm not convinced that's going to happen. But, then you've got some communities who are really welcoming for refugees. And look, guys, I'm trying to be as objective as possible. I really am. Sarah, can you do me a favor? Yeah. Can you keep checking the Arkansas thing?
Yeah, I'm just looking at it.
So that's kind of the situation in the United Kingdom right now, guys. All right, we are being overwhelmed with, migration, and it comes down to a few things. I guess the asylum system's overwhelmed right now, guys. It's overwhelmed. There's a backlog of over 71,000 cases. Now, just imagine each one of those 70,000 cases. They need a solicitor. They need a legal team. They need a judge. They need everything, and they need time as well. So just think about the time it's going to take to get through 71,000 cases, which means people are going to have to wait for years to get a decision. Now, while they're waiting for that decision, we're paying their food, we're paying their accommodation, we're paying their healthcare, we're paying everything, while we have got hundreds of homeless veterans on the streets. And I don't know about you guys, but to me, that just doesn't sound fair. Go on, read it out, shall we?
Update is saying that Fayetteville police report no evidence of an active shooter at this time. Officers continuing to clear building as part of an ongoing investigation.
Okay, so just in, guys.
9 minutes ago.
9 minutes ago, as with regards to the active shooter in Arkansas, I'm just hearing that the police in that area are reporting there's no evidence of an active shooter. So I don't know what's happening.
Text alert what's been sent out to everyone.
So there was a text alert that was sent out. I don't know if this has been done by mistake. I don't know what's happening, guys. Remember, when there's a dynamic situation like this, I'm trying to get you guys the news as I'm getting it. I'm trying to read through that, see what's between the lines, and give you my opinion on that. So it looks like there could be a potential for the active shooter scenario in the United States to not be as active as it would first seem. But guys, listen, I will keep you updated on that. Like I said, 71,000 cases in the United Kingdom of backlog decisions, decisions that have not been made with regards to migration and the migration policy in the United Kingdom. So this is having a massive effect. So it's all well and good, Angela Rayner talking about, we're going to build this many houses, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Okay, that's fine. What about the food supply? What about the water supply? What about the hospitals? What about the dentist? What about the roads? What about the infrastructure that naturally develops when things happen normally? We're overwhelmed, guys. We really are overwhelmed in the United Kingdom. It's unbelievable. Now, I tried to look and try and find how much migration, and I tried to be as objective as I could be. Now, I'm getting figures from various sources, and the round number seems to be 3.3 billion migrants are costing. are contributing to the UK economy each year. Now, and again, when we talk about statistics are it's very easy to lie with statistics. So what they're saying here is migrants contribute 3.3 billion to the UK economy every year. Now, if people are asylum seekers, they're not classed as migrants. So it's very difficult to get these numbers, guys. It's very difficult. I would say they're a net drain, but, you know, that's me. So listen, guys, I've got a question for you guys. What is the mood where you live? Now, wherever you live in the United Kingdom, overseas, and look, guys, if there are people watching from other countries, what is the mood where you live? What's the mood in your community about migration? Are you seeing division? Are you seeing unity? You know, because I kind of, where we live, there's massive division. But I'm maybe somewhere in the United Kingdom or somewhere else in the world, there's unity. Maybe people are coming together and welcoming people into the United Kingdom. You know, I genuinely don't know what the answer is, and only your opinion matters, ladies and gentlemen, because ultimately, Odd Bodkins 5 is saying bacon sandwich. So Odd Bodkins is saying bacon sandwich. And Odd Bodkins, I hope you know that if you say that out loud in the United Kingdom, that is legitimately hate speech now, and you can be arrested for that. I mean, I don't even want to tell you guys that we're having pork ribs on the barbecue layer. Is that hate speech, saying we're having pork ribs on the barbecue? Yeah, so Rachel Samantha here is confirming what we just said about the active shooter in Arkansas. Police say there is no evidence of an active shooter, just a text alert done, a sweeping search of the building. So, guys, look, I don't know what the scenario is. It does look like it could be less of an active shooter search situation than we thought about. But, ladies and gentlemen, let's not worry about the active shooter. If it is not happening, I will keep you guys updated on the active shooter. Let's continue about the crisis. Let's talk about the crisis that is here in the United Kingdom, which is migration, food, climate, water. Kind of the things that you need to, you know, it's never a bad thing to lose those things. It's never a good thing to lose those things. Sean McKay is saying government can't bring new laws. Hang on. If things are okay, problem needs to be made for a new. Yeah, I agree. I do think we're going to get this scenario. I mean, you're kind of seeing it right now, and you're seeing it being promoted. Look, I want to talk about something else that's just happened in the United States. Donald Trump's just made it illegal to burn the Stars and Stripes flag. I think that is phenomenal. I do. I think it's phenomenal. So just let's contextualize this, ladies and gentlemen. DJT over in the US of A is making it illegal to burn the flag. So if you're in America and, you know, you want to start burning the flag in the streets and stamping on it, I don't know why you would. I really don't know why you would. But if you want to, like, imagine the absurdity of it, right? You move over to the United States. You want to claim refuge in the United States because your country's so bad, and then you're so angry about being in the United States, you start burning the flag. You're like, hang on a minute, what are you even playing at? So DJT, Donald J. Trump is making it illegal now to burn the flag in the United States. And as I understand it, he's putting a minimum jail term of 1 year on that. So if you burn the flag in the United States, you get a minimum of 1 year in jail. Now, this comes at a time in the United Kingdom where it seems like a crime if you put up your own colours in the United Kingdom. It does seem like it does seem like a crime if you put your own flag up in the United Kingdom. I mean, look, guys, let's be quite clear, all right? Birmingham Council have no money to empty the bins. There's garbage and trash and rubbish piling up everywhere. We know we don't have anyone to come and remove it. We're so short-staffed. Soon as you draw a red cross on something, deploy all forces, get the people out there with the white spray paint and get rid of it. It is crazy, guys. It really is crazy. But what I'm getting at this, guys, is I don't know when it was, but in the United States, they said burning of the flag is an expression of free speech. And it is, guys, but, and this is where I don't know where to go. Part of me, I'm like, yeah, do you know what? You guys want to burn the stars and stripes, get yourselves in jail. But then when that's on the other foot, and they've already gone past that free speech nullification, whereby they're already nulling people's freedom of speech. I don't know where it ends, guys. I really don't know where it ends. Sorry, guys. Let's continue. Fine. Let me jump off screen a second, guys. Let me jump off screen. Sorry. I had a carbonated drink and I had to get rid of it before it went warm. Oh, he's back. He's back. Right. Okay, listen, I blocked this guy last time. Okay. So Russell Pizza. So Russell Pizza is saying Raven, the racist official. Russell Pizza, was you on the beginning of my live stream? Like, Russell Pizza, how many languages do you speak, mate? How many languages do you speak? How many countries have you lived in? So Russell Pizza saying Raven, the racist official. Like, the first 2 to 3 minutes of this live stream, I was talking about how I've been treated in the Middle East, how I've gone away, how people have, when I've lived in the Middle East, how well people have treated me and how courteous people have been to me, and my personal experiences with living with Syrians, living with Iraqis. I literally talked about that. I talked about when I used to witness Ramadan, observe Ramadan with my Muslim friends. You know, how, you know, one of the organizers of Ramadan came up and he said, "Hey, Sean, I know you're a Christian and you don't, I know you're a Christian. We don't drink beer as Muslims, but we know you do drink beer. So we've got you some beers." And I was like, wow, thank you so much, mate. Thank you so much for that. You know, I could talk about one of the guys who used to work in the office, Ramya. Literally every Monday, I would spend Monday afternoon with him in the office and we would just be eating biscuits and drinking tea. So what I'm talking about, guys, you know, and this is kind of the problem. You know these people who are waving the flag saying, racist scum off our streets, racist scum. They're the uneducated ones. They are literally the uneducated ones. So what I'm saying, is, oh, hang on a minute. Russell Pizza's jumping back up. So Russell Pizza thinks it's racist, right? Ladies and gentlemen, what do we think? Russell Pizza is saying it's racist that I didn't know when the Notting Hill Carnival started. Russell Pizza, I would block you. But I want you to keep coming with your comments, mate, because they're hilarious. They are hilarious, honestly. So if you don't, like, ladies and gentlemen, if you do not know when the Notting Hill Carnival starts, you're a racist. I mean, is that your argument, Russell Pizza? Is that your argument? Is that where we're going, Russell? I love you, brother. I love you. Love and light. I hope you live a long and prosperous life in your stepmom's basement. Maybe get out and see the sun. Go for a walk or something. I don't know. I'm not going to get nasty, guys. I'm not going to get nasty because I'll just get blocked on TikTok. Right, let me continue. And Russell Pizza, do you know when St. George's Day is? Right, anyway, guys, listen, I'm going to continue, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to talk about climate change now. It's real. Literally, me and Sarah were sat outside a couple of hours ago or something. And we was looking and we was just talking and we was like, when has it rained? And I know it doesn't sound like much, But the knock-on effects climate change is going to have, it's unbelievable, guys, and it's going to affect each and every one of us. Before we get onto that, guys, I just want to have a look at this Arkansas active shooter. So give me a second. I'm just going to refresh the screen. No more updates as of. Have you got one? No.
No, I need a power bank.
Just what? Oh, you haven't got a thing. No updates, guys. The last update we got was from the last update we got with regards to the active shooter in Arkansas was no evidence yet of active shooter on University of Arkansas campus. Yeah, so I don't know what's happening, guys. I will keep refreshing this screen and I will keep letting you guys know what's happening, but it does look like there could have been at least an active shooter. Look, we don't know what this scenario is. It could be, and I'm just speculating wildly here, guys, okay? Somebody could have gone into a classroom with a 9, done some damage and ran off, and they've not yet found where that was. I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm saying there's no reports of it. I'm giving you guys what I'm getting from open source online media. Right, let me, where am I going? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about climate change. So before we go on to climate change, there's two things I want to add 2 things here, guys. Okay, so first of all, you've got man-made climate change, which would, what's going on there? You've got man-made climate change, which would be, I'm not convinced, ladies and gentlemen. Raven is not convinced of, you know, I'm not convinced as, personally, I'm not convinced of human-made climate change. I'm not, guys. You know, I'm really not. But I am convinced of climate change. I do believe climate change is real. The climate is changing. There is no doubt in that, guys. There is no doubt in that. Things are getting hotter. The weather's getting more unpredictable. You know, we're having storms when we shouldn't. We're having snowfall when we shouldn't. We're having heat waves when we shouldn't. The climate is changing. All right. So I just, before we talk about, is it real? Are humans? Do we need to have electric cars? Do we need to stop CO2? I don't want to get into that, guys. What I'm just confirming here is climate change is real, guys. All right. That is real. Let's talk about it. So I guess this ties right back to migration. It's not just a global problem. It's hitting the UK food and water security. If you, oh, hang on. Sarah needs a USB. Go on, take that one out. Pull it down. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Oh yeah, massive difference. Hang on, let me get you this. I can't. Sarah needs a USB, but she can't get. There's one in the kitchen on the. Just bring that one and plug it in the thing on the left. Sorry, guys. Sarah's looking for a USB port. So climate change, it is affecting the United Kingdom massively, guys. You know, we are massive food importers, and it's just getting worse, guys. The amount of food we import is more and more and more. Every year we import more food. Now, there's a lot of reasons for this. One of the reasons is we are taxing our farmers into oblivion. Another one of the reasons is the farmers get better yield, more incentive for growing flowers in their fields. Another thing is, like, if we, like a bad summer like now, like, I know that there'll be places in the United Kingdom, and guys, if there's any farmers out there, please, if there's any farmers out there, please let me, if there's any farmers out there, please let me know if I'm wrong. But I would speculate that this year, there are some farms that just can't even afford to bring in a combine harvester to get that crop and then like process it, because there's just not enough money. So all these things buckled up, guys. It really hits UK food security. Also water security. Energy and Climate Intelligence Unit says that 3 billion of our food is imports. That's ridiculous, guys. That is ridiculous that we import that much food into the United Kingdom. Now, the places that we import food from, like Ukraine, like Pakistan, like China, these countries need to have food for their own people as well. So unfortunately, when things get bad, they're going to keep the food for themselves. And we've seen this, like the Chinese stockpiling masses and masses of, like hundreds of tons of rice. Which also jacks up the price for import. So like if we were importing food. So here at home, UK farmers are struggling, guys. They really are. I mean, if you guys were on the live stream earlier, 6,000 farms or 6,000 agricultural related businesses have gone bust this year. They're gone, they're finished, they're not coming back. That's it. It's over, ladies and gentlemen. So you can see the problems that we're coming to right now, can't you, guys? So listen, ladies and gentlemen, a fun fact for you guys. Last year in the United Kingdom was the second worst harvest since records began. Does that sound good? Does it sound good? And I think that this year is going to be the worst. I do, ladies and gentlemen. I think this year is going to be the worst harvest we've ever had in this country. So that's obviously, there's no doubt in that. That's gonna absolutely destroy food prices in the United Kingdom, guys. It's there. It's coming. This all comes to floods and droughts and sun and all sorts of crazy stuff. And water's an even bigger issue, ladies and gentlemen. Like, you guys know that I've been talking and harping on about water. Make sure you've got 3 liters of water per person per day. Like, that sort of stuff you need to get, because it is a bigger, water is a bigger worry, ladies and gentlemen. And as we get more people via migration coming to the United Kingdom, the bigger strain there will be on that food supply. Like, where are all those eggs going to come from? Are we really going to import eggs? Where's all the cooking oil going to come from? Things that are heavy that need to be imported. Which is obviously a nasty, cycle. And I need to be objective about this, ladies and gentlemen, right? People blame migrants for a lot of this stuff. They do. It's the natural go-to. But the reality is the situation is a lot, holistically, it's a lot more complicated. Yes, we are having mass problems in the world with food, the weather, the climate, all these sort of things are all feeding into that narrative, whereby at some point, we are going to be at breaking point. Absolutely, guys. So, like I said, the climate change drives world food and water. World food and water pushes people to migrate, and that feeds the divisions we just talked about. I don't see any solutions, guys. Like, you can look, guys. Let's just pretend you're in some African tribe. All right. Let's just pretend you're in some beautiful African tribe. All right. Your African tribe is so beautiful. You're unchanged. You've been unchanged for the last 200 years, 300, 500 years. You go out, you're a hunter-gathering tribe. And somebody shows you on their phone, they say, look, if you go to the United Kingdom, you can have all this free stuff. And you're like, wow, I can have all this free stuff. And then they find their way into the United Kingdom. And then, like, you can imagine the problems that are here. You can imagine the problems that this is going to bring, right? It's unbelievable. You don't need me to highlight them. So I want to ask you guys a question now. I want to throw this back at you guys. And I don't usually do this with climate and stuff, but just have a think about this, ladies and gentlemen. How does climate affect you? Like, how is the climate affecting you? I'm thinking about water shortages, food shortages. Have you noticed higher food prices? Is your water on and off? Have you had a warning? Like, where are we going with that? Have you personally noticed that. In fact, guys, listen, I've just realized I've been on over 30 minutes. Can you guys do me a real big favor? Can you guys like, comment, subscribe? If you guys are remember we're triple streaming, ladies and gentlemen. I totally forgot to say we're triple streaming. We're streaming on TikTok, we're streaming on YouTube, and we are streaming on X. The crux of this video, ladies and gentlemen, is the breaking news that there's an active shooter situation in Arkansas, in the United States. I've been giving you guys live updates on that as best I can. It does look like at the moment it may not be as active as initially thought. We're also talking about the crisis in the United Kingdom, guys, right? Crisis in the United Kingdom, migration, climate, and this comes also, and I'll just say this again. So in the United States, Donald Trump has just signed a bill or an executive order to make it illegal to burn the United States flag. Hang on a minute, guys. The chat's going crackers here. Right, what's going on here? Right, lose the pizza. Right, okay, hang on. Right, let me get him, guys. Right, Russo, I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times, mate. All right. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why you're winding people up, Russo Pizza. Like, but he's gone. Russo Pizza's gone. He couldn't contain himself. Right, guys, I'm gonna have to keep a closer eye on this chat. I'm gonna have to keep a closer eye on this chat. I don't know what he's going on about. I mean, he's just like, yeah, sorry, guys. Look, guys, sorry. I do apologize. Russo Pizza's gone now. I apologize. Russo Pizza's gone. I was monologuing. We had this guy, Russo Pizza, who thinks I'm racist because I didn't know when the Notting Hill Carnival started. Like, and this is what you have to deal with, with the woke mind virus, when you're dealing with the woke mind virus, like, this is what you have to argue with. Like, you'll give an articulate, concise, historically accurate argument, you'll present it, and they'll come back to you and say, yeah, but you're racist because you don't know when the Notting Hill Carnival started. And you're like, excuse me? And you genuinely have no answer for that. Like, how does an intelligent person contemplate that they're being called racist because they don't know when the Notting Hill Carnival starts? I mean, does he know when, like, I don't know. I don't even know. Does he know when St. George's Day is? Does he know when, there's so many, does he know when it's, does he know when it's Burns night? You're a weird racist if you didn't know where the Burns night is. We all celebrate Burns with poetry. Ex-military guys, you guys know what I'm talking about. So yeah, it's very difficult, and some of these people that give you that argument, like, it's unbelievable. You can't argue with that. It's impossible to argue with someone in that mindset. That is just so deluded. And then they think they've won the argument. So you say to them, whoa, stop. Can you just repeat what you've just said? You're a weird racist because you didn't know when you're a weird racist because you didn't know when the Notting Hill Carnival starts. In fact, hang on, that's the wrong answer. Sorry, that was the wrong answer. I can't do. Beer can. You didn't know when you do not know when the Notting Hill Carnival starts. You're clearly a racist. I don't know. That sounds like Italian or something. I don't know. But look, guys, you can't argue with these people, so I have to get rid of them. They're gone, they're finished, they're not coming back, right? But apparently, if you don't know when the Notting Hill Carnival starts, you're clearly a right-wing, you're clearly a right-wing racist, and you need to be on some sort of some sort of watch list, I guess. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue. So I want to try and tie this together now. Move forward. I am going to keep looking at the chat because some of the chats are going wild. In fact, hang on. Let me get some chat from YouTube because you guys on YouTube have been there quietly. Evan Rickard is saying it doesn't really, but inflation is crazy. The heat is disgusting. Yeah, so we're talking there about how things are affecting us, how climate change is affecting us, how the price of everything is going up. It is, guys, absolutely going up. I mean, I went and bought a kilo of ribeye today. It was Tony Baloney is saying, what have I walked into? World War III, Tony Baloney. You walked into World War III. So I went and I bought like a kilo or something of ribeye, and it's gone up. It's like £26 a kilo right now. I can remember the dizzy old days when it was like £13 a kilo, and it doesn't seem like 12 months ago. And the cost of everything is going up and up and up and up. People will be at breaking point. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Do you know who still get their 3 meals a day? Do you know who still get their 3 meals a day? Do you know this winter when it's cold and you're worrying, you're like, oh, should I put the heating on for an extra 20 minutes, or should I turn it off and we'll have a little bit more money at the end of the week? Do you know who's not? You know, this year, do you know who's not going to be worrying about putting their heating on? Do you know who's not going to be worried about where they're getting their food from? Yeah, all those people in taxpayer-funded hotels, ladies and gentlemen. And as Matt is saying as well, Angela Rayner, yeah, she's not going to be bothered either. She's going to be eating herself into oblivion. So Emma Green is saying, Sean, it's come up on my phone that the union is going to fight for the age of the state pension to remain as it is and not raise it. Wow, that is a massive headline, guys. Listen, if you live in the United Kingdom, or wherever you live, the unions, the trade unions in the United Kingdom, they are massive funders to the Labour Party. Now, if the unions are going against the Labour Party, that is a huge thing to be happening, guys. You know, but look, let's not write off the Labour Party just yet, guys. Let's not write the Labour Party off, because I think January, put this in your diaries, ladies and gentlemen, January 2029, Keir Starmer will stop migration and he will start mass deportations. That's what's going to happen January 2029. Mark my words. Thumbnail this. Is it thumbnail? Is your thumbnail a video? Do you thumbnail it? Oh, I don't know. Bookmark it. Yeah. So, sorry, guys. So let's try and put these two things together. So we've been talking about the crisis in the United Kingdom. And look, guys, I need to keep mentioning this. Right? Donald Trump has just signed an executive order in the United States. And as I understand it right now, he's just signed an executive order that makes, if you want to burn a flag, a United States flag in America, you get 1 year in prison. That's what he's saying in the United States. That's what they're saying. Whereas in the United Kingdom, you're not even allowed to fly your own national colours.
Sure, Lord of Language is what happens when migrants start ripping flags down.
So, good question. Was that on TikTok? Yeah. Was it recent? Or?
Lord of Language.
So Lord of Language is saying, what happens when migrants start ripping flags down? Well, I think it's going to happen. I think it's an inevitability. What you will see is balkanization. And any of you guys who are ex-military, who served in Northern Ireland, you guys will know what I'm talking about. You will have, for example, you'll have a road. One side of the road, you'll have Palestinian flags. And on the other side of the road, you'll have, Union flags. And that will be your dividing line. These guys who live on this side don't go over there. And those guys who live on that side don't go over there. And then you'll have another region, and they may have a Somalian flag. And that Somalian enclave, they don't step outside of their little Somalian area. And the people with the Union flags, they don't step into. That's what's coming, ladies and gentlemen. Mark my words. The balkanization of the United Kingdom. It's coming, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what? It's coming. We've paid for it, and we have voted for it ourselves. So, excuse me. Sorry. I do apologize. So how do these crises connect? How is migration and climate and food shortages, how is it all connected? So climate change is making places all over the all over the world difficult to live in. Pakistan, Syria, some parts of China, Russia, it's making it almost impossible to grow food, which pushes millions of people, and Africa, of course, Africa's having massive droughts at the moment, which pushes millions of people to move. And the natural place that people move when they're coming to Europe, unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess, depending on what end of that spectrum you're on, I'm on the unfortunate side. When they reach the UK, they hit a strained system and hostilities, which fuel divisions. Now, I get it, right? If you're in some like crazy country, in like some sort of crazy African country that's constitution is written in pencil, and somebody on their phone is showing you, hey, look, this is what you get if you move to the UK, what are you going to say? You're going to say no? You're going to say no to that? Or if you're a criminal out somewhere and you've committed a crime and you want to get away, well, you've got two choices, really, haven't you? You can either stay, you do the crime, you do the time, or you can hang on, you do the crime, you do the time, or come to the UK and drink some wine. I don't know what you're going to do. So, like, you see where I'm going with that? People can come to this country and we don't even check their backgrounds. I don't know who's coming. So all these things do, they do tie in. And at the same time, climate change is hammering our own country. Climate change is hammering the United Kingdom. Climate change is actually, destroying the United Kingdom regardless. So you can see all these things coming to an absolute crescendo. So I do think, guys, look, I do think we need a fair asylum system, where we're using safe routes, fast processing, and letting the right people in. Not just opening the doors and letting anyone in. Like, it's like, oh, like I used to go to these refugee camps in the one that we used to go, I think it was every Wednesday, we had to go to the refugee camp in Syria. And, the refugee camp would literally be full of women and children. And you'd say like, oh, so where are all the men? And the people say, oh, the men have left for Europe. And like, oh, right, okay. Like, and those women and children, they're the people who should be given, refugee status. They're the people who should be getting looked after. But unfortunately, because we're already strained, we can't do that anymore. And it's just crazy. Hang on, who's saying don't be ignorant? Right, is there beef on here again? Oh, Jade. So Jade is saying there is no climate crisis. Open your eyes. Right, Jade. I'm not saying there's a climate crisis. Oh, you know what? Did I say there was a climate crisis? Did that slip out? Right. What? Let me clarify. All right. There is climate change, and maybe Jade's just jumping on here. Maybe Jade's just jumping on here and catching the last bit. So there is climate change. I'm not convinced that it's man-made. I'm not. If you guys want to look into the Milankovitch cycles, you guys will see all about it. So I'm not convinced climate change is man-made, but there is definitely climate change. Like, whether you want to call it a crisis, that's open to interpretation. But go and look at the United Kingdom right now. I mean, our garden, it's literally turned into a desert wasteland. It really has, guys. I could probably run on the garden and it'd just standard come up. There's nothing growing. There's been no rain. The sun's been too harsh. Nothing is growing. Now, to me, that could be argued that is a crisis. That could be argued that is a crisis. Right, okay. Jade is saying they're spraying the weather every day. Go and check it out. Right, okay, so Jade's going down the chemtrails. Jade's going down the chemtrails route, okay? Look, guys, I'm not going to go down there right now. Jade, I'm not saying you're wrong. Let me pin this, but I'm going to pin this out of respect, Jade. But don't let's just keep it articulate. Let's keep it clean, all right, and intelligent, all right. So Jade's saying they're spraying the weather every day. Go check it out. I don't want to get into that right now, guys, because I've got too much to get through, and I may have to cut this short. Okay. So Jade, I'm not saying you're wrong. All I'm saying is we'll talk about that at another time. And that's it. That's as far as I'm going with that, guys. All right. So, like I said, I do think we need to have a fair system. We do need to have a system that lets the right people in, and not just a free open door. On the climate change, ladies and gentlemen, like, can you guys remember when, what's his name? The reform guy, what's his name? Is it Lee Anderson? Is it Les? Is it Lee or Les Anderson? I can't remember. MP Anderson, whatever his name is. So you've got, I can remember when he stood up and he asked Miliband, is it Dave Miliband or Ed? I can't remember. He said, if the UK, if we reach our net zero targets, how much will that bring global temperatures down by? And when you think about the question in itself is absurd, because the United Kingdom, we contribute less than 1% of world pollutions of CO2. And the argument about CO2 is unbelievable, because like CO2, if you have no CO2 in the climate, the crops will fail. So all this war on CO2, this war on carbon dioxide, that's literally a war on plants. And I don't know about you guys, but I kind of like plants. You know, I like eating them. I like having a swing in trees. I like playing with congas. I like apples. I like stuff that grows. You know, wheat, barley, corn. I don't know. Maybe you guys don't like that. Maybe that's, I don't know. If you like wheat, I mean, where's he gone? What was that guy now again? Russo Pizza. Maybe Russo Pizza would be saying, if you like wheat, barley, and corn, you're racist or something. I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. So what I'm getting at here, guys, is like, we need to have better farming. We do, like farming, like we need to have more incentives for farmers, and not just farmers. Like, people need to grow their own food. Like, you right there, yeah, you need to start growing your own food, whether that's tomatoes, potatoes, pumpkins, carrots, whatever it is. Like, grow your own food. Like, everybody needs to grow their own food. Let's stop relying on farmers, but let's also support farmers. Water, like, the amount of water that's wasted in this country is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I've spoken about it like many, many times, how we have a situation in the UK where our water systems are owned by international investors. Those international investors just literally suck us dry. No pun intended, guys. You know, they literally suck us dry. Those water companies suck us dry, and they don't reinvest. So we need better water. And I think we should, like, I think water companies should be nationalized. I really do. There needs to be global support for those countries hit hardest. But it's also about building like communities. And we tried to do this when we first started these channels, but we didn't really get any traction, whereby we tried to say, right, okay, why don't we all grow food and share it? But nobody did. Everybody likes going to Asda or like Tesco's or whatever. Everybody likes buying their food from the supermarket because it's easy. It's convenient. You know, you don't get your hands dirty. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, at some point very soon, we're going to have all this stuff come to an absolute crescendo. Now, here's a question for you guys before I jump off screen for 2 seconds and stretch my legs because it's getting really hot in here. Just a quick question for you guys before I just stretch my legs. And I will jump. I'm going to go onto YouTube, actually, guys, because the comments are going crazy on YouTube. What solutions do you think we could have for migration or climate change? You know, how could we, like, and culture preservation as well? Because people don't, like, you know, people think if you're anti-migration, you're some sort of crazy, or some people think if you don't know when the Nottingham Carnival starts, you're a crazy racist. But the reality is, you just want to preserve your, you just want to preserve your own culture, which I don't think's divisive in any scenario. So, ladies and gentlemen, can you put some answers to that question? And I'm going to stretch my legs. Oh, go on. You said something. You said something. Oh. Oh. Right, I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. I am back. I'm back for my third live stream of the day. Yeah, I've not done one. I've not done two. This is tre, or that would be Russian. This would be Odin. No, that's Russian. Odin dva tre. Odin Wahad Thnian Klathe in Arabic. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I guess we're on. Can you do me a real big favor? Can you hit those buttons, guys? The like, follow, subscribe, bell notification. Oh, hang on. Right, UK veterans. Hang on. UK veterans is saying you need to watch that video I've sent you ASAP. Right, I tell you what I'll do, UK veterans. I will close this down on. When I close this down on TikTok, I'll go over to YouTube and we will, and I'll watch it, and I will watch it on. We'll watch it on YouTube. Right, let me jump and get this chat. So, Faith and Repentance is saying they keep poisoning us here in the US, the animals, the water, the air, so that when they finally say take the digital ID, RFID chip, you cannot buy or sell or eat. That no one can run nature. Yes, I think a lot of people are seeing this coming, and a lot of people, and quite rightly so, a lot of people can see the digitalization, the digitalization of society, where we're all in these 15-minute cities and we're all combined together, and we have to do what, we have to do what we're told, or some sort of stuff, we're in these little 15-minute cities and we're not allowed to leave, because if you leave, you'll have your universal basic income turned off, and all that sort of stuff. So I totally understand it. And Faith and Repentance, we are feeling the same here in the United Kingdom. We really are. James is saying the phase hang on. James is saying the phrase climate change is ridiculous. Everything changes. I do, you do, cars, houses do. Yeah. No, you know what? I agree, James. I agree. You know what? Thinking about it, yeah, it is ridiculous. The concept of man-made climate change, it is a bit peculiar, because I don't think humans contribute that much to climate change. I don't know about you. Give me a second, guys. Sarah, can you just close that door? So I don't think humans contribute that much to climate change. And this, the analogy I will give you guys is, if you fart, right? If you fart in a hurricane, are you really affecting that hurricane? Didactically, you are affecting that hurricane. You're adding to that hurricane. You're making that hurricane more powerful. Tiny little bit. Is it worth having some medical procedure to stop you doing that in case you do that again in another hurricane? No, of course not. But yeah, I totally agree. And if you guys want to look at the Milankovitch cycles, the Milankovitch cycles are clear patterns that the planet has warmed up and cooled down and warmed up and cooled down. And when all these people say, "Oh, this is it's the hottest summer since records began." Okay, when did records begin? Well, records began when the Earth was coming out of a mini ice age. So yes, of course, the temperature's going to get hotter. We're coming out of a mini ice age. Of course, we're going to get hotter. Sean McKay is saying, hang on. Sean McKay on TikTok is saying, make them all do jobs under surveillance like a chain gang. Pay them, soon they'll leave. I mean, Sean McKay, I mean, maybe that's like when we're talking about having like a migrant army. Maybe that's like the migrant army. We just, put them in a chain gang and say, right, you're in Eastern Europe now. Go and earn your keep. Lord of oh, hang on. James is saying, when I was at school, we were constantly told there was So James is saying, when I was at school, I was constantly told there was a mini ice age on the way. Fact, yeah. I mean, like, all this information is readily available. All you need to do is do a quick Google search for Milankovic. And Milankovic, it's either Milankovic or Milankovic. But whatever, Google will correct you. It's either Milankovic or Milankovic cycles. Literally, just put that into Google, and it will show you how the Earth's temperature peaks and troughs over time. And that is the absolute reality. Lord of Langwith is saying, migrants stop their handouts, climate change. We'd have to recolonize half the world to make a difference. You know what? You know what? You're right. The British Empire tried going around the world making a difference, but then we got kicked out. And now then they come to look at Pakistan for a brilliant example. So, people go to Pakistan are celebrating independence from Britain by coming. Pakistan are celebrating independence from Britain and not being under British rule by moving over to Britain and being under British rule. You see the absurdity of it, So yeah, as Lord of Langwith saying there, we'd have to recolonize half the world I would say all the world to make a difference. And you know what? I think Britain should recolonize all the world. I mean, I think in fact, I know that there are only 22 countries in the world that Britain have not tried to attack. Lulu on TikTok is saying, even if man did alter climate, nothing we can do. You can hear the bells. We can hear the bells. Right, guys, I'm going to jump onto the YouTube comments now. I am going to jump onto the YouTube comments. In fact, guys, actually, I'm going to close this down on TikTok. I'm going to go over to YouTube. I am going to be streaming just exclusively on YouTube, where I can talk a little bit more freely. I can open up a little bit more and talk about things more, more without having to watch my P's and Q's. So, right, guys, if you want to go join me over on YouTube, I'm going to be over on YouTube for a little bit. We'll be talking on YouTube, and then we'll close YouTube down as well. If you've not done so already, guys, hit those buttons up there if you're on TikTok. Hit the buttons down there if you're on YouTube. And I don't even know where they are if you're watching on X, but hit those buttons if you're watching on X as well. We are talking today, ladies and gentlemen, about the breaking news from the United States. It does look, there's been reports of an active shooter in Arkansas, although from recent reports, it does look like that active shooter is not as active as people first thought. We have been talking about the crisis in the United Kingdom, mass migration, climate change, water shortages, food shortages. We're going to continue this conversation over on YouTube now, guys. I'll see you later. In fact, you know what? I'm going to wait 30 seconds. I'm going to wait 30 seconds and then I'm going to turn it off, because that'll mean I've done an hour. I've been an hour on TikTok. UK Veterans is saying your bells are early. It's 20:57. Yeah, I've noticed that. I noticed that at 1 o'clock this afternoon. The bells were 3 minutes early for some reason. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to tell us something. Maybe they're trying to 30 seconds, and then they're trying to alter our perception of reality. Anyway, guys, we've been on an hour now. I am going to close this down on TikTok. Go and follow me on YouTube X and TikTok. And I'll see you in the morning. And we're just streaming on YouTube. We are just streaming on YouTube now, ladies and gentlemen. Just streaming on YouTube. Right. Let me get these comments on YouTube. In fact, can I get a drink? Can I get a drink now? I think I can. I think we can talk a little bit more freely. Have they gone out on the garden?
Yeah.
Okay. We may have little girls running in a minute because the girls are just running around at the moment in the garden. Right. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I am on the chat on the YouTube chat. So I do apologize if I've missed anyone's comments. I'm going to work through some of the comments now on. I'm going to work through some of the comments on YouTube. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're on right now, can you do me a real big favor? Can you hit those buttons down below? The like, comment, the subscribe, the bell notification, the follow, literally the buttons down there that help this channel out. It's free, ladies and gentlemen. Not much stuff's free in today's world. Not much stuff is free at all. Yes, UK Veterans, the video you sent me. Right, I'm just getting a video up now that I was sent. This one. Give me a second, guys. So I've got to watch a video. UK Veterans. There we are. Right, got the video up.
First of all, I want to apologize because I feel I betrayed you. This is going to be very hard for me to do, but it needs to be told. I'm not going to tell you my name. You can just call me the whistleblower because this needs to be told.
Right, so this is a video I'm just watching now, guys, about a whistleblower. I'm gonna give it you as I'm getting. I'm literally just watching it now in real time.
A small bread and breakfast / hotel on the outskirts between London and Bristol. Exactly where, I won't say.
So he's saying, so the whistleblower is saying he runs a small bed and breakfast hotel on the outskirts between Bristol and London.
I was commandeered by the office of 10 Downing Street to rehome refugee families. When the first lot of refugees came, there was not one woman, there was not one child.
So he's saying he's been told he's got to house refugee families. What he said is the first refugees came and not one woman, not one child.
People that turned up were men from the age of 19 to 30, I would say. I have enough room for about 250 residents. I currently house 150 immigrants. Yes, I did receive quite a large sum of money for doing so. On doing so, the government told me that I had to fire all my staff.
So he's saying he received a large sum of money and taking that money had to fire all his staff.
And they will supply their own. And also that they will supply security guards for...
So the government have told this guy, allegedly, ladies and gentlemen, I've got no evidence other than this TikTok video. I'm just repeating what he's saying to you. So he's been told he's got to get rid of all his staff. The government will provide security. The government will provide staffing for these people.
Breakfast. Well, about 2 weeks ago, I received a phone call to say that a large parcel will be arriving sometime this evening. Around about 2:30 in the morning.
So he's told he got a phone call saying a large parcel will be arriving.
Another phone call said the parcel has arrived, and can I open up the rear servant entrance at the back of the B&B, which I went down and met some army personnel, which kind of surprised me.
So he's saying now that military personnel are at the back of this hotel and they're delivering a parcel. Guys, look, I've got to be quite clear straight away. Like my alarm bells are going off because there's quite a few things that are not adding up here. But I'll continue and then I'll give commentary.
The person in charge, I don't know who he was, colonel or whatnot, asked me to show him to a secure room within the B&B.
Yeah, I'm done, guys. I'm done. It's not credible. It's not guys. It's not credible. It's not credible. So if anybody gets that, all right, well, you've got to understand. Look, okay, right, I'm not saying it's not credible. I'm saying I feel that video is highly unlikely to be credible. First of all, he said the office of 10 Downing Street have commandeered his hotel. It wouldn't be the office of 10 Downing Street. It would be the Home Office, which is not. But yeah, you can't. Maybe, yeah, somebody's maybe whatever got that mixed up. The second, and I've only just watched that for like a couple of minutes. The second thing with that video, he said military personnel turned up. Look, guys, I've done plenty of jobs for the military that the military wouldn't want people to know that military were doing it, and you don't turn up in uniform. You don't turn up in uniform. How else would you know they're military? And a colonel, sending a colonel to deliver a package, not a chance, guys. You're going to send a couple of private soldiers. And if this is a special forces operation, they're going to be in civilian clothes. Now, if you guys look at the when there was arrests in and around Manchester after the 2017 bombing of the Manchester Arena, you guys will remember seeing these guys. They looked different to everybody else. They had no markings on their kit and equipment, and they were wearing civilian clothes. They were the special forces guys, all right? They're not police. They don't wear any insignia, and that would be a special forces operation. So straight away, guys, I just don't see the credibility in that. I really don't. I'm not saying it's not credible. What I'm saying is I find that, I believe that's, I think that's unlikely to be credible. Lots of comments on here, guys. Look, guys, I got through that, and look, and this is why I do this channel, because there's a lot of information out there that's just like, you know, people get excited about it, people get confused. Some of the information's misinformation, some of the information's non-information. And what I do on this channel, I tell you guys what's relevant and what's not relevant. And it's never the big things that are the most relevant. It's the little things, like, for example, you know, like these, you know, like these, what's the word I'm looking for? Go on, you know, the online safety bill. So the online safety bill in the United Kingdom, you know, like, we all saw pictures of beheadings. We did. We all saw on X videos of people. We all saw those videos on X. So tell me again how the online safety bill is working. Or is the online safety bill just really the online censorship bill? 2019, 2020, laws were passed in 2019, 2020. They're still in force today. Facial recognition. Oh, it's there to protect you. These are the things that you need to be worried about. These are the things, you know, and it's like Edward Snowden said, you know, it's not the things that are passed in like shady back rooms somewhere. It's the things that are out that have not congressional, you know, it's the things that come out for tender. You know, it's the things that are out for everyone to see. You know, people kind of pay lip service to that. You know, the big tenders, like 700 body storage for 700 people. People kind of pay lip service to that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let me do the comments. So Lisa Jane is saying 223 arrests over 2 days in Notting Hill. Well, I mean, can you imagine the Notting Hill guys? Like, can you really imagine right now in Notting Hill? Like, imagine if that was a St. George. Like, can you imagine every day, every year, if we had a St. George's Day parade and there was like the first 2 days, there was like 423 arrests. I mean, there's an Lisa Jane's also saying 32 police officers assaulted. Like in Notting Hill, they've got like rape tents now. So if you get sexually assaulted in Notting Hill, they're like, oh, come to the tent, come to the sexual assault tent. You go, oh yeah, oh, I'm all right now. Yeah, I've had 20 minutes in the tent. I'm all right. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to the crowds. It's crazy. It's crazy. Excuse me. Right, Slim is saying they need to stamp out all the gang nonsense, no matter where it is held. Says Slim. Oh, I think Slim was. I think Slim was responding to. I think Slim was responding to someone else. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start closing this video down now. In fact, let me just have a quick update on the active shooter. Yeah, let me have a quick update on the active shooter. Yeah, there's been no updates with regards to that active shooter, guys. So I do think it's. I don't know. I would expect there to be more of an update from that. So still no evidence of an active shooter, ladies and gentlemen. The police now in Arkansas are saying that there is no evidence of an active shooter. Maybe somebody went in with a 9 and let some rounds off in the air. Maybe it was a false alarm. Maybe, I don't know. But as of the time of saying this, there's been no updates on the active shooter, and the police are saying there's no evidence of an active shooter in Arkansas. In the United Kingdom, ladies and gentlemen, we really are in crisis. We've got migration, we've got food, we've got water, we've got taxes. It's unbelievable, you know, the things that are happening in the United Kingdom. And all this really is, it's coming to like a Christopher Nolan, it's coming to like a Christopher Nolan crescendo where everything's going to hit at once. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close this down now. You guys have been fantastic. I'm going to be back on tomorrow at 10 in the morning. And if you're at the end right now, guys, and you've not done so already, make sure you hit those buttons down below. The follow, the subscribe, the bell notification, so you guys know when I'm live, you guys know when I drop a video again. And if you've not, then make sure you watch the rest of the video already. Anyway, guys, I will see you in the morning.